Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to the Technology Forum, Powering the Transition, Energy Management Strategies for Net Zero. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Shalom, Salam Kebajikan. I welcome you to the first event of Technology Forum in Cikarang, because actually this is the second roundtable, and we have been doing the Technology Forum. We launched it at BKPM just last month, working with the Ministry of Downstream and Investment. BKPM has been, now they have a new Mantri, right? You know, Pak Rosan. So Pak Rosan Roslani is supporting us with preparing the Technology Forum. I'll tell you a little bit what we do. The Technology Forum is set up to deliver on which technologies are suitable for Indonesia to achieve 8% growth, GDP growth. So the 8% GDP growth, you know, is the mandate from President Prabowo Subianto, and it's not going to be easy to reach 8% growth. And everybody knows it's a challenge, including Pak Prabowo. He also knows it's a challenge. But his view is, if you don't aim for 8%, you will get 5%. If you aim for 5.56%, you will get 4%. So he wants to aim for 8% so that we can be closer to 8%. Maybe 6.5, maybe 7, maybe 7.5. And eventually, one day, maybe 5 years, 10 years, we must reach 8%. So it's lighthouse number. You understand? Lighthouse number. So that is the approach of how Pak Prabowo is looking at. And we had a long discussion with Pak Hashim. You know, Pak Hashim has been championing sustainability. And he told that there are two factors that we must look at. One is energy consumption must go to 12% growth. If energy consumption goes to 12% growth, automatically the whole economy will lift, going towards 8% growth. So that is your KPI. How can we make sure energy consumption goes to 12% growth?
Now, energy cannot grow if industry does not grow, right? Because the largest consumption will not come from private usage of electricity. It will come from industrial usage. So we have to look at energy consumption going up to 12% growth so that everything else can follow and GDP growth can happen. Now, if energy grows to 12%, that's a big problem if it's not the right formula for energy to grow. So energy transition must happen using net zero goals, using various technologies that are there, so that we have a responsible and sustainable way towards achieving 8% GDP growth. So it's very interconnected, right? Everything is very, very interconnected. We have to find a way forward that meets all other KPIs that have been set by the government and not random. So Technology Forum is trying to identify those technologies which will result in high growth of the economy. Because there are many sectors of manufacturing or industrialization which does not contribute to the growth in the same way. So we want to prioritize certain group of technologies which will help this. So Technology Forum focuses only on that. And energy is a very important part, not only the manufacturing and production of energy, but the management and consumption of energy. All of this is a part of that equation. So we are here today for two things. One is, of course, talk about what is the practical aspects of energy management with the various factories and infrastructure companies that are here today. Plus, we will talk about some concrete steps, what we're going to do in the next 6 months to 1 year, where we are not just talking theory today, but we are talking implementation. We are talking about practicing of all these ideas, which is the reason we have today Thermax with us. Thermax, Parabi will give an introduction, but and I will ask Samina to give the opening introduction because Rabi has a presentation which he will show a little later, halfway through this. But Thermax is, you could say, from India, one of the leading organizations in the world in the energy transition story. They have technologies, they have knowledge, they have expertise, they have skills, they have consulting, all towards helping companies go towards a net zero future. So I'm very happy to have Samina, Rabi, and Sujit here. There you are, Sujit, from Thermax. A warm welcome to them, please. Yeah. The second organization I want to introduce is Jababeka NZICC. And we have here Pa Regi from Jababeka, and he will also give us a little introduction when we start about what does NZICC do and what are their goals. So welcome to Pa Regi and his team, Pa Biti, and we have a whole team from your side. Yeah, okay, some warm welcome to them. Okay, and we have from the government, from ESDM of Provinsi, Pa Ibnu, who is here, and Pa Ibnu will give us an introduction when we start. He will be the first speaker actually, who will talk about what is the priority of the local government, the Provinsi here for ESDM, and give us a little bit of a framework of how the government sees the importance of compliance, the importance of initiatives that are being done, and the importance of the community we are building who are going to be champions for net zero. So many of you who are here today are part of that. You're here because you think this is worth it, the time is well spent, and you believe in net zero being a future, right? So what can the government do to help us? And that's what we will hear from Pa Ibnu, who will give us a little bit of an introduction. Okay. Now, in addition to that, we have all of you who have come here today, and we have some people on the way, but we will start right now. And the idea of all of you being here in the room is, I think you should remember that this is the beginning, a new beginning towards achieving net zero goals. It's not that Technology Forum is here only today. Our plan is to work with NZICC and do at least 6 events in a year. So if you do 6 events, that means every 2 months we have an event, bringing together practitioners and government, bringing together consultants, bringing together solution providers, the whole ecosystem we're bringing together. If you do every 2 months, I think we can achieve some good goals. So I was joking with Pa Regi that we should actually have a KPI where the membership of NZICC should be 100 companies. So hopefully Pa Regi and us can collaborate to create 100 companies whose job is to look at net zero practitioners within their own factories, within their own organizations. Okay, so a warm welcome and a round of applause for all of you for being here today. Just some ground rules. We have speakers, we have observers, but I believe that all of you are contributing. That's why you're here. Okay, so we'll get started. First of all, I would like to set the stage for a discussion, which is not a monologue yet. I'm the moderator, so I will help facilitate a good discussion, and we will follow the flow of the discussion so that we are able to come up with a story by the end of today's morning session. And I'll tell you what we are doing. We have a YouTube channel for this, and our team will record the highlights of our discussion today. Our team, I also have a media team here. Where is Rafi? There you are. So Rafi is going to write an article about the outcomes of today's discussion. It will go to 120 media. So this week, the press release about the results of what we discussed will go to 120 media across Indonesia. So when Technology Forum is doing this event, we also have amplification. It's not that ada 15 orang yang bicara nanti habis itu masih di sini. No, it is really going to be out there. We're going to be able to amplify. We're going to be able to talk about what are the important issues. And we have the reach of the media with us. It's our own media company. It's Investor Trust Media. And we have India News Desk, and we have a few other media companies. They will cover it, but 120 media will cover from all around Indonesia. So we will also know that whatever we say today here has some impact and it has some outcome. So feel free to contribute, and we follow Chatham House rules. Chatham House rules means we will not identify that you said this at this venue. We will make it part of the discussion. If you have a concern that you may have said something which you don't want to be attributed to you. But if you are happy to be attributed, then we will quote you in the press release. Okay? So that you can let me know after the discussion today, because you don't know what you're going to say, right? So after that, you can let me know if you want to be quoted or you don't want to be quoted, so that we will still carry forward the message tanpa ada attribution. Yeah. So we will be able to give a good report, which is a good summary of our discussion today. Okay. So we follow Chatham House rules, and we will be then having at the end of this. There will be a small Q&A session, but remember the Q&A actually is part of our discussion. This is like a roundtable plus focus group discussion combination of FGD and roundtable. Okay, so I'm going to start firstly with a quick introduction from our partners. Before then, and after that, I'm going to ask Ibnu to give us a little bit of an overview of what is the government's perspective on the net zero and strategy for net zero for this region. Okay, so maybe we start with Rabi, a quick introduction about Thermax, but not the presentation. That will come later. Or Savina is going to do that. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samina. I head corporate communications for Thermax. I'm not going to go into the details because Ravi is going to cover about Thermax as such, but we are a 60-year-old company. We are an Indian conglomerate, and we provide solutions, a range of solutions in the space of clean air, clean energy, and clean water. We started as a boiler company, but now, as I mentioned, we have a range of solutions, right from carbon capture to green hydrogen to bio-CNG to waste management. We are here to help industries to be a partner of industries in their energy transition journey by understanding customers' need, providing solutions which are customized in the area of waste management, water management, how we can help making your solutions more energy efficient, how we can do carbon capture for you, and achieve your target of net zero. So welcome, and I look forward to have a very healthy and interesting discussion today. Over to you, Ravi.
So now I'd invite Paregi from the Net Zero Industrial Cluster community. Give us a little bit of a background. What is this organization? What do they do? And maybe many of you are already members, and some of you would like to be a member. You can contact his team. Over to you, Paregi. You can use this.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi Bapak Ibu sekalian. Ketemu lagi di acara NZICC. Kali ini kita melaksanakan kegiatan ini berkolaborasi dengan tim dari Indonesia Economic Forum, yang mana juga disupport oleh tim dari Thermax, ya tadi sudah diperkenalkan. So just a little bit introduction about Jababeka NZICC. I think most of the tenants that is present here already know about Jababeka NZICC. So Jababeka NZICC was inaugurated in 2022 during the B20 event, and on that B20 event there is a signing from Jababeka and also several anchor tenants, which is L'Oreal, Unilever, and also Hitachi Astemo. We were supported by Pertamina New and Renewable Energy because the first project under Jababeka NZICC is the installation of several solar panel in our tenants, including also in Jababeka. And from 2022 until now, we are still focusing in increasing the membership and also partnership and activity inside Jababeka NZICC. And now we already accumulated up to 19 members of Jababeka NZICC. But this is actually quite a small amount considering the high number of tenants inside Jababeka Industrial Estate. So we are actually one of the largest industrial estate in Indonesia. We have 1,800 tenants, and this is very diverse in size of their businesses, diverse in size of their factories, and also diverse in terms of sectors. And then among of those 1,800 tenants, we also already mapping around 200 of anchor tenants, We consider anchor tenants is kind of a big tenant in Jababeka Industrial Estate because since the formation in 1989, Jababeka Industrial Estate has been transforming and forming its industrial ecosystem. So each of the tenants inside Jababeka Industrial Estate is linked with each other. So some tenants may be the part of supply chain of this tenant, and then other tenants may be the part of supply chain of another tenant. So this is quite complex, the relationship between tenants inside Jababeka Industrial Estate, and this is also becoming an opportunity and of course a challenge by itself because of this ecosystem. And under Jababeka NZICC, we have target to achieve net zero 10 years earlier than Indonesia, because Indonesia already stated to reach net zero at 2060, but Jababeka NZICC has elaborated that we want to achieve the net zero in 2050. And we were also already acknowledged and supported by World Economic Forum as one of industrial estate transitioning towards net zero. And in 2022, actually, under this World Economic Forum industrial estate transitioning to net zero, we are one of the first in Southeast Asia. Right now, it's already adding up to, I think, 4 or 5 industrial estates in Southeast Asia, including several in Indonesia and some in Thailand. And to achieve this very optimistic target in Jababeka NZICC, currently we apply or implement 2 kind of strategy for decarbonization. The first one is core decarbonization, and the second one is systemic decarbonization. Because we realize as an industrial asset manager or as a community, we cannot force all of these tenants to do decarbonization and to follow our targets. What we can do is to catalyze their efforts to do decarbonization, their efforts for energy transition, and their efforts for sustainable initiatives. And this is actually included in our core decarbonization strategy. So core decarbonization strategy is any decarbonization that is under the jurisdiction of its tenant. And we as Jababeka NZICC just catalyze it through several activities, including capacity building like we are currently having right now, and also business matchmaking. So we are introducing to them the technology, the new solution regarding decarbonization.
So with that, I would like to actually ask Ibnu to open the session with a little description or maybe a kind of a presentation on what is the view of the ESDM, the government, energy ministry, and how the particular province, because he's from the provincial office of West Java, Java Barat, and how they see, because I think Java Barat, if you know, if I may give a little introduction, is the heartland of industrial activity. More than 50% of the manufacturing GDP of Indonesia, manufacturing GDP, comes from here. After that only you have Surabaya and GRECIC and all the other places. More than 50% of the industrial GDP is coming from this area. So it is the most important and the most significant contributor to the whole process of how we go towards net zero under one roof. So Pa Ibnu, over to you. Yeah, Pa. Thank you very much, and please feel free to. Do you have a presentation? Would you like to give anything, or do you want to just talk aja? Okay. All right. Over to you, Pa Ibnu, and thank you very much for being here, Pa. Silakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. First of all, I would like to convey Mr. Permadi's apology for not being here in person because he has another agenda with our head of agency. So he assigned me and my colleague to be here. My name is Ibnu. I'm from Energy Division of Energy Mineral Resources from West Java Province, and my colleague, you can see in di ujung sana, Mr. Adi. Here I want to talk about the SDM of West Java Province perspective about the energy conservation, including the management energy in industrial sector. in West Java province, we have a regional regulation number 13 2024 about the regional long-term development plan, and in the document has a green economy index and have a total 15 indicators including environmental, economic, and social for green development. The energy transition is directly related to the indicators of energy mix or portion of primary and energy intensity, and indirect or composite with a reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and the intensity in emission intensity. West Java province also have a regional plan number 2 2019 about the regional energy plan of West Java 2018 until 2050. In the document, the target of there are some target to achieve such as the renewable energy mix, primary energy total, power generation total, and electricity consumption. By 2023, the regional renewable energy portion in West Java achieved 24.36%. In past 3 years, the RF portion has been exceeded from the target. So, and then because there is additional government affairs in the new renewable energy sector for provincial government, accordance with the presidential regulation number 11 to 2023. So the provincial government has another authority such as the management of biomass and biogas supply, and then management of the utilization of biomass and biogas for fuel, and then management of various renewable energy sources such as from solar, wind, hydro, and then in the conservation sector, for the management for the activity for business license issued by provincial regions, the implementation of energy conservation in facilities and infrastructure managed by regional apparatus, and then guidance and supervision of the implementation of the energy conservation is carried out by the stakeholder at the provincial level. And then because the target has been exceeded and additional government affairs, so the existing regional regulation number 2 and 2019 have to be changed. So now we in the SDM agency is a progress for updating the regulation. The new target of we has calculating for the renewable mix target in the 2050 is 70.29%. And then in the document of the RUET, we have some annex that contain about the strategy and the policy of any sector, such as in the industrial, transportation, household, business, and commercial sector. What we have proposed the policy and the strategy in the annex of the updating RUET for industrial sector are: the first one is fuel switching, increase the electricity use, coal reduction, and gas and hydrogen use. The second is energy efficiency, the equipment with the potential to reduce energy consumption by 50 until 60%. The next is electrification. We push to in low temperature processes industries such as food and beverage, textile and leather, electronic devices, assuming to achieve 55% electrification by 2026. The next is hydrogen as a gas substitute. green hydrogen to replace the natural gas for high temperature heating processes starting from 2041. Number 5 is biomass substitution replaces fossil fuels for high temperature heating processes, especially in the cement industry, but it also applied in other subsectors with smaller quantities. And then the carbon capture storage technology for the cement and steel industry starting from 2036. The use of coal and gas in this industry has the opportunity to reduce through CCS technology. The potential for reducing CO2 emissions from the industrial sector is quite large. Because the document is still progressing for updating, we are from the SDM is open if there is inputs or suggestion from the industrial sector to be included in the document. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Ibnu. I think you've given us a good framework of what are the major priorities, especially the updating your the regulation, ya Pak. When is that expected? Kira-kira kapan? Updating the regulation butuh berapa waktu biasanya?
We are the updating is from 2023, I think,
Yeah.
but it's still progress because we still waiting from the RPPK from the central government to be published.
Okay.
I think because what we have done until now is based on the draft the RPPK. So we have to wait the RPPK is published, and then we can take the target-target in RPPK to be dimasukkan ke dalam web.
Okay, understood. So it's an ongoing process, yeah, Pak. So maybe, Pak, would you mind if we can take some questions about the government role, if you don't mind? I think the first one, Naresh already mentioned. What is the approach of your ministry for compliance and adoption? Because like how Regi was saying that the community cannot force companies, but maybe government can. Do you have, what is your approach? Is it also encouraging, or is it also adopting, or is there any penalties, or how does it work? What is the viewpoint from government side?
If we talk about the government side, it's quite ribet, because there is some authority that it's only the central government authority, not the regional authority.
Okay.
If you talk about what government can do, yeah, it's based on the authority.
Okay.
So if the industrial authority license is issued by the central government, and then the central government yang memiliki kekuasaan itu gitu Pak.
Okay, has the mandate.
Yes.
The central government has the mandate to
Yes.
do that. And your the regional government has only to oversee the mandate given by central government.
Yes.
Betul. Okay. So at the moment, from a central government perspective, I think what Ibnu was saying was that based on the license that's given to companies, there are certain goals for net zero to be achieved there. And is there any penalty, Pa? What is the current system right now? If a factory? Yeah, please do.
I'm from PLN-EMI, which
Yes.
handles the market-based instrument, including emission allowance, carbon credits, and REC. And right now, what government has done is the implementation of emission trading scheme, which started in our subsector, which is generation subsector. And the government is currently trying to implement the emission trading scheme for industrial sectors. If I'm not mistaken, there will be 4 sectors: that will start from industrial sector, manufacturing sectors, which is cement, steel, paper, and fertilizer. The unique system or the uniqueness here in Indonesia is that the implementator is the technical ministry. So
Okay.
the one that implement the emission trading scheme for our sector in electricity is ESDM, Government National Ministry of ESDM. But the one that will implement the ETS for manufacturing is the Ministry of Industrial Affairs. So it will be maybe a bit fragmented because it is based on the technical ministry, but they are coordinating with the Ministry of Environment in the implementation. What we want to see right now is the ability to move emission allowance and emission and carbon credits cross sectors, because right now what we are hearing is that the ETS from energy sector cannot cross into industrial sectors. The carbon credits from energy sectors cannot cross into industrial sectors. This is a big barrier into the decarbonization. I think that I can add about that on government side.
Thank you, Pa. In fact, PLN has a good overview into this because they are right in the middle of it as the energy provider for the country. Thank you for that insight here, Pa. Does anybody want to add a little bit about what is the status of the same issue in other countries? Is there anybody with perspective on what's happening in, maybe Samina on India? Ravi, do you know? Is there any learning here that can be, is Indonesia on the same stage in the energy from a government perspective? Any insight? Please, go ahead.
See, this topic of whether the government can enforce and can there be penalties, even in India, I don't think government is imposing any penalties. Currently, it is all kind of awareness sessions being conducted everywhere. There are targets being set. Every country has its own net zero goals, and that's getting percolated down to individual provinces, states, industrial estates. And most of the companies are taking their own individual goals for net zero. Thermax also has its own net zero goals. So it's essentially awareness and encouragement which is being done. So I don't think penalty works anywhere in the world. I'm not sure about US or any of these Western countries. I'm not sure. Probably, sir, you may be aware. But I don't think rest of the world has got any penalties for this. Still in that phase where it's voluntary, implementation of all these, which is happening.
Thank you, Ravi. Pa Adrian, you would like to contribute? Silakan. Just please check the mic here before you give it. It's not.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe I can add a bit about
Sure.
what's happening in terms of emissions trading in the US. So when we talk about the US, one of the most potent markets is in California, and it's one of the highest GDP in the world, even just at the state level, not just at the country level. And what happened there is that the local government, since it's just a very promising market, like a very well-established market, they're able to enforce emissions compliance, and so but they leave the operation side to the market. So there are carbon markets set up over there where the emissions compliance and emissions allowance are set by the local government, and when certain companies exceed or are unable to mitigate those emissions, they are heavily taxed. On top of the emissions that they are missing. So, for example, they're only allowed 1 million tons of CO2 equivalent, and they emit 1.2. those 200,000 are taxed on top of what they should be paying. So the double taxation, which enforces players to focus on lowering their emissions. So hopefully it's established. I saw that we have some market instruments that are being set up in Indonesia, such as the commodity future market. So there's a collaboration with Bapakti. So I feel like the government are trying to set up like bits and pieces for us, so that the market can be established, and PLN as the electricity leader in Indonesia, we have set up instruments such as renewable energy certificate with and emissions SPGK with the carbon credits, which my colleague Prabhu can go heavily go in depth with whenever any one of you wants to talk about it. So PLN is very focused on like helping the ESDM and helping Indonesian government to establish our to reach our net zero emission goal.
Thank you a lot, Adrian. I'm coming to you. Actually, a mic to Naresh. So you make a very good point that PLN working with ESDM and working with the government to help this energy transition process is a very important step, because like Rabi said just now, that penalties and all have never really worked. What has worked is fiscal incentives or disincentives. That if you achieve a certain goal, you have lower taxation, otherwise you get extra taxed. And fiscal incentives is one such way. So compliance is an important thing, because I know many people in the room here are from the factories. I don't think we want to be advocating for penalties, because our factories will not be able to jump onto that unless we have some knowledge within the companies, and we need some information within the companies, and we are not yet at that stage. So I think we need to be able to, how do companies get helped so that they know what they need to do in order to be compliant, and how can they even do adoption of technologies which will help them to go closer to net zero. That also becomes a talking point here. We're going to discuss all of this today. Yeah? We have, I think, another good 1 hour, 1.5 hours to discuss all these issues and come to the root of it. Naresh, you want to quickly react?
Yeah, two things. Number one, as I understand, that if you're exporting to Europe, you need to put your carbon certificate with it, your ability to meet your goals. If you don't, there's a 4% penalty they will charge you on your export revenue to Europe. And either it's about to start or has just started. So there are penalties in the game. And if you want to export, you better get your business in order. Number two, Sachin, if we have to do things, if we can learn handphone, if we can do e-banking and e-toll and everything, I'm sure we can work on credit, carbon credits, carbon emission management, measurement, forecasting. When people have to learn, under crisis we do. So, you're more sounding today like Shah Rukh Khan in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and my thinking is more like Salman Khan in Wanted, kick punch, job will get done. We are under serious crisis mode. I don't think so we can sit and, one of the ministers once told me, he was attending my workshop on strategy management. He once told, if we have crisis, we'll make a committee. So if we are on a plane and plane is about to crash, we make a committee, then we create awareness, then we go to Bali for workshop, and by that time plane has crashed already. Yeah? So depends how much is the sense of crisis right now. And if we like 7,000 rupiah to a dollar, or we want to go back to 2,000 when I came to Indonesia, that will basically show where we want to be. So I believe both are doable there.
You want to add something, Ravi? Please.
Just to add to what Naresh was saying, I totally agree that it's an urgent crisis. It's very difficult if we start. I like the example what you gave. We'll have lots of meetings, and we'll have meetings in Bali and across the world, and things don't move. So the pace is very, very slow. That's something which is given, and especially for a country like Indonesia, where it's fully covered with water all across, all around. And the climate change is a very serious thing. So we are talking about moving Jakarta, the capital, out to Nusantara, just because Jakarta is a sinking city. So Jakarta, that's known as sinking city, just because of global warming. Yeah, so I don't know how fast Nusantara will come up now that there's a change of government. So we'll have to see how fast that will come up. But it's happening. I think we have invested money there. So it's a very, very serious thing to be addressed. Now, again on penalties, so Singapore is talking about a carbon tax. I think that's probably the first country who's officially going to implement it. I agree with what you said. Lots of exports to Europe, the textile exports especially to Europe and US, they are insisting on greening. The company which is manufacturing the product should have green technologies. Actually, we get a lot of inquiries because we supply biomass boilers to these industries. Textile factories need steam. And we keep getting a lot of inquiries for fuel shifts. That is because these companies are insisting, the bigger brands are insisting on going green. So it is there. I think the Western world is already implementing. But I think for developing countries, it's still a challenge. I agree with what Sachin said. It's more of incentivization which is required because money, of course, that's a major part. When you talk about new technologies, today it's expensive. So many of the developing countries and the companies in these developing countries, I would consider, say, Indonesia, India, or any of these countries as developing countries still. The money is very important. So incentivizing is extremely important. So that's something which today I think all governments are trying to do. How fast we can do it is something which I think that's something everybody has to see. We also have to see as people from the industry, what is it that we can do to contribute to ensure that we move towards net zero as early as possible.
Yeah. So, I think this question we can pose to Pa Ibnu as well. Pa Ibnu, the summary of the discussion was more about if you're exporting globally, there already are either penalties or incentives. Mostly penalties because you get carbon tax or you get, additional charges if you're not compliant with your KPIs. So other countries are doing it. So that is only relevant to exporters. How about domestically? Do you have ESDM have any plans for either incentive or maybe penalty or any other such scheme which can accelerate or motivate companies to be more compliant?
Yeah, I think for the industrial sectors, especially in conservation, we have regulation again. It's presidential regulation number 33 2023, and then for the technical regulation of the management energy is on the Ministry SDM regulation number 8 and 2025. If we are talk about the one of the way of the industrial sector can do in reducing the emission is about do the management energy, and then in the regulation is also have incentive and disincentive for the industrial to implement the energy management. And for this incentive, if the industrial cannot do the management energy, is you can have the warning secara tertulis dari pemerintah. And then if the industrial continuously doing the bad thing, is the local government can give the recommendation to the pihak yang mengeluarkan izin, issued the permits, license to mencabut insentif yang sudah diberikan.
Okay. So in summary, basically what Pa Ibnu says that there is a regulation in place and there are a lot of things, and the issue here would be that the governing body can look at if any companies are violating their license can be revoked. So that is a process that is in place. But I know what you are asking, Naresh. Does that happen, right?
No, how long? It's 1 year.
Huh.
We are too slow.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know in your process, of all this process to go, how long will it take?
Yeah. Just get the mic because then it will be in the recording. Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will miss out of the
My
recording.
question to Paibnu, all this regulation and the action that will take, what is the timeline? Do you have a timeline that 1 month you don't do, next month, third month, or is it 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? What timeline we are talking?
From the West Java province side, especially in us in SDM agency, because the regulation is a new published,
Right.
we don't have yet the timeline. Yes, and because we have as I said before, the updating RUET, I think maybe in the next RUET document but it's still progress. No?
Right.
Actually, the good point here is this is the crux of the discussion today, right? What should be a framework going forward? And I think we're getting a lot of good inputs from everyone. That there could be a collaboration between ESDM, PLN, the NZICC, etc., in order to come up with the implementation framework, which is a little bit more practical. Because there is also the other issue about there's a cost to being energy compliant, and for a lot of companies which may be under a lot of economic pressure, they need to find a way. So there are actually issues about financing net zero, etc., which needs to be explored, because it might not be as easy as, okay, you are not compliant, because it affects your P&L, right? It affects your margins and or maybe your capex investment. So we have to look at all aspects of this and try to come up with a framework. Yeah, you want to add?
So, couple of thoughts, and you can figure what works for you or not. Right? Number one, soft financing for companies. They still have to repay, but at a lower level of interest to government. Okay. Number two, funding from other external parties also may be possible, but obviously they have to pay some market-based rates. Yeah, nothing comes free. Number three could be you could put these companies up for sale if they can't do their job. Okay. Example: if I can't do my job, I'm sure my bosses will not retain me. So same concept. Why are we sticking? If we want 8% growth, we need speed. Okay, and speed/velocity is a valid strategy. If you look at all the e-banking, digital transformation, it's all about speed. Indonesia had one of the first unicorns, yeah, Gojek. It was all about speed. You call, the food is at your home in 40 minutes, 50 minutes, yeah. You want Gojek, it's there in 30 minutes or even faster, yeah. So when we have used speed to create value, why are we so slow to execute this? That's a question, yeah. I'm not defending anybody, I'm not attacking anybody. My question is very simple. Why are we so afraid? Why are we singing Kuch Kuch Hota Hai when the world has gone to Donald Trump, who comes home at night and says, that's a good rate. Another executive order. If we are competing against that world, where Donald Trump moves overnight, and we, third largest democracy in the world, fourth largest country of almost 280 to 90 million people, why are we so slow? Can't be that difficult. Awareness is not difficult. You put it in a newspaper or put it on YouTube, it will go viral on its own. So that awareness, let's go Punjab, I think that belongs to a world before year 2000, you know. I was also guilty taking companies to Punjab for strategy planning, or Bali, or Singapore. But that world doesn't exist in the last 20, 25 years. That's why one of the reasons, and I'm not saying the only reason, we are slowing so lot compared to small companies, countries in the neighborhood, becoming fast and most attractive. Yeah? We are still thinking old solutions to new problems. Yeah? So speed is one thing we should not, and helping companies is given. You know, you will have to help them out. And by the way, I can meet you later and say what I can do for you free of cost to help you in this project. Yeah.
Yeah, if we are talking about the incentive that we can give to the industrial to push their to take the net zero emission, there is two kind of incentive, fiscal and non-fiscal. And the fiscal incentive is based on the regulation in the financial sector, and then what we can do in province is, I think, to give some non-fiscal incentive to push the industrial sector. But as you know, because the authority just regulated in the 2023, and we are in province just started the implementation of the regulation is in 2024. For example, as I said before, in the regulation is province can management the biomass to change the fossil as a fuel. By now, we still progressing to inventarization the data about the potential of biomass and how much that needed to memenuhi kebutuhan dari industri, to fill the industry needed, and we still progressing to update the data. And then for the disincentive to how to warning the industrial, I think in government side is bertahap. We could step by step. We cannot just give the punishment, I think the first step is to give their warning by secara tertulis, and then until mungkin parahnya bisa mencabut izin gitu, Pak. Mungkin seperti itu.
I'll actually add here. He has a point, because I'll give you a case in point of a company that's coming to Indonesia next year. It is I won't name the company, but it is a large technology-based company out of Sweden, and they're a global player. Now, they are backed by a very large retail fashion company. Now, the retail fashion company obviously is making fabric, right? So this company's job is to create recycled fabric material in polyester, and 60% of their produce is bought by this brand. So this brand is invested in that company, and they're coming here to create this manufacturing facility. Now, here is the thing. That brand is selling their products to its customers on the basis of it being planet friendly. So they cannot buy any product that is made by a company that is not net zero compliant. It starts from energy source has to be renewable energy. So they need the REC certificate from PLN. So already there are a lot of checklists. If you don't meet the checklist, they cannot set up the plant. So they are net zero born, rather than they are being transitioned into net zero. So a lot of new companies that are now today already have their net zero goals very clear. And this incentive is coming from the customer, because the customer will not buy if you are not a net zero compliant company. So there is a lot of such schemes already in many parts of the world, where the company is already clear, the brand is already known as a green brand, and the green economy push is very strong, so that the people will not buy if they don't like that company, if they don't like the brand. So that is only, of course, relevant for retail companies, right? If you are not in the B2C, but you are in B2B part of the business, then it's a very different perspective. So that is kind of is self-propagating. The step-by-step approach which Ibnu is saying is actually slowly coming, everything is all coming together. It's like a big puzzle where little pieces of the puzzle are all over the place, but it's slowly coming and converging together, and we are seeing how can we accelerate that process, which is what you are saying, no, Naresh? We need to be able to accelerate it so everything comes together. But I think the pieces of the puzzle are already there. It's just a matter of whether people are recognizing that here, and whether companies are aware of what is their role. Market forces are already forcing that happening. You want to add something? Yeah.
Thank you. There were two topics being discussed here. One is how do we get it implemented? Do we have penalties? Should we do it? The speed of implementation. Second was, I think, what you also raised, there should be government incentives. Where does money come from? Because when you have to shift, you need money. There's capex required. So, incentives in India, when solar started many years back, I think many of you must be aware of, I don't know how it's in Indonesia, I'm not very clear. When it started, solar, maybe 15-20 years back, it was very expensive to set up. And those days, the government gave lots of incentives to companies to set up solar plants. Private companies, I'm not talking about the large solar plants, but then private, even private sector. But now solar prices have crashed. The panels prices have crashed, and I don't think it needs any kind of incentive anymore. So I'm not sure what is happening here on incentives. But I fully agree that there has to be some kind of a soft loan or some facility available to industry to make a major shift, because when you're talking about larger investments, there is a play for private sector also here. Like Thermax, we started a vertical, a separate vertical, where we build energy transition plants for our customers. It's on a BOO model, build, own, operate. So we spend all the money, we construct the plant, and then we sell, if it's a steam boiler, we sell steam per kilogram, per ton of steam. So everything, the whole investment is taken by Thermax. So for the customer, it doesn't hit, like what you were talking, it doesn't hit their balance sheet straight away. It's an expense. They just buy as they consume, that's what they pay. So that's something which a private sector, that's between two private companies. The government doesn't come in there, but then between two private companies it can be done. So there are small, and there are many companies, not only Thermax which does it, there are many other companies who do it. And we, I think, currently run more than 50 plants across. 70. We run about 70 plants like this, where we have invested in the boiler. And in Indonesia also we have a plant already running. I'm not naming the company, but there's a plant which is running in Sumatra, which is on this model. And we have at least about 5 or 6 active inquiries going. In Indonesia, it's picking up. Customers are wanting to go for this model, because this push for greening is coming in, especially on biomass. I think he was talking about biomass as one of the initiatives. So we do it only for green energy. Thermax does not invest. If it's a coal-fired boiler, we will not invest. So if it's a biomass plant, we invest and then we sell steam. So the same thing can be done for effluent treatment or any of these kind of renewable solutions. So this is something which I thought I'll just put it on the table, because it's by government and by private sector. It can be done by both.
Good point. Sanjeev, you would like to add?
Technology is the big cost for manufacturing sector especially. So here we are looking at for manufacturing technology, conventional technology to switching the green technology, around 20 to 25% less energy cost will be there. But there is big investment involved. So we have discarded the conventional equipment, manufacturing equipment, and replace with the green technology equipment. So here we are looking from some government 50% interested, or some of another area, government should be recognized, government should be make the norms for the different product, create the norms like steel process. There is a steel making and there is a steel thread process. They have 3-4 products. So each and every area they should create the norms, generate the norms among all the producer. Best norms they can adopt, government norms. So if and those are non-performing, you have to discourage them, and you have to encourage the energy efficient production, and you can reward them, and you support the people those are inefficient energy, not energy efficient production. They are not doing energy efficient production. You support them, give them investment. What I told now. So that also there are 2 parts. One is replace the equipment, another is use the equipment, you running the non-productive manner. During the productive hours, you should be run the optimize the productivity, you can reduce the energy cost. We did this and we got the ASEAN award also. I did from 2008 to 2012, I worked 4 years. And 15% energy cost reduced our steel processing, and our work also recognized. So that is another way. So we have some norms in the sector wise, product wise, norms. Then you said these are not performing, these are performing. If not performing, how we support the non-performance? and how we reward the performers. Now, second point comes the green conventional energy and green energy. So, green energy, producing green energy, we have some international Europe, some other sector people are there. The people supported the loan also. Also, they provide the same manner. We are discussing the solar rooftop, the 25 lead line project. 70% we are going to pay one generation, 30% still we are going to save the money. We have that model, we are working such models. So still investing by the other vendor, still 30% of the generation, we pay only 75% generation, 30% still we save, and 25 year maintained by vendor, operated by vendor, and after 25 they will give the handover. So these are other model available. So regarding the green energy generation, there is model available. People you have to work, go in detail. But regarding the manufacturing sector, you replace the conventional machine by green energy, and we need some government support. And also regarding the product. So based on the energy norms, government, SNI or something, they should have some green energy product. So to are doing energy independent production, and there is the 20% green energy they are using, or their energy is superior. This will reward them the green product, and they give some rebate them in taxation for manufacturing. That is the way to encourage. Dictatorship or some impose the law enforcement, then work. You have to encourage, support the go parallel. Duty and authority should be parallel. Cannot just enforce the law enforcement, government and law enforcement, the people investing the money. So how to both work together, duty and reward and encouragement.
Thank you very much, Pasanji. That's a good. In fact, he is one of the recipients of an award, the ASEAN Energy Award. Therefore, he is somebody who has already done this. He's been there. I think 4 years you implemented.
Basically, when the economic crisis
Yeah.
so that era,
Yeah.
forced to basically we literally gain corrupt. We are sitting there to maybe import raw material to 2 months raw material.
Yeah.
That time steel raw material cost was the $1,200 per ton, and we are sitting with 2 months inventory, and cost come down to $550 within 2-3 months.
Okay. Very good.
And
Yeah.
so that era we are literally bankrupt. So we got some money from local traders, $3 million. $4 million local trader give us money also. We are literally bankrupt. So bank also not in that condition. Bank also not support you. So we negotiate the bank loans, and parallelly we start working. This is start journey 2008, and we finished. We got some electrical energy. Partner we reduced around 25% per ton, 25% level. We have 225 kW per metric ton, we reduced to 165 kW per metric ton. And other energy, water, steam, compressed air sector also we reduce around 15% level, 12 to 15% level. So how we work with the optimize the productivity rate, and during unproductive hours we switch off, auto switch off, auto switch on the fixed part of the engine. During batch process there are intermediate process there. So how we optimize the intermediate process, and during the energy we get optimize.
Okay. Thank you, Pasaji. So, actually, you know what? I want to steer the discussion away from this particular topic now into more specific on technology. Okay? So, yes. Go ahead, microphone from PLN. Yeah. I'm going to get them for a second.
Sorry, Pasaji.
Yes.
One last
Silakan. Yes.
thoughts about, because you're talking about energy management.
Yes.
Perpres 33, Permen 8. So, Chatham rules, Pasaji.
Yes, Chatham rules. Don't worry.
So, EMI was a BUMN, was a SOE that was the core competence was in ESCO, Energy Service Company. In fact, when we were acquired by PLN, one of the comparison was Thermax. And since even 2009, since even Permen 7/2009, the incentive and disincentive for energy management has been laughably weak.
Yes.
I think if you want to bring this back to BKPM, this is one of the point of energy management, because you're talking about incentive and disincentive, fiscal and non-fiscal.
Yeah.
There is nothing that that makes people do energy management even since 2009. You're talking about permit revocation. There has not been any revocation.
Okay.
Even now, when a company does energy audit for energy management, they just do it for the compliance for proper, and after proper, it just became a book. The recommendation there, either internal or external recommendation, never done. Now we have one incentive that the energy efficiency can be registered as carbon credits.
Yes.
That's based on Permen 8. But outside of that, nothing. So I think this needs to be reworked. If we want to advocate for energy efficiency, because I am a certified energy auditor. I'm a thermal mechanical certified industry energy auditor, and I've seen myself that this in Indonesia has no. Even if we want to talk about business, energy efficiency business, there's no business here. EMS core is an energy service from 87. Now we are pivoting into energy instrument like carbon credit and REC. Why? Since 87 to 2021, we've always been in the red because the government say that that's our core competence, that's our core business. Thank you.
Very good point, Herman. I think, you actually nailed it. The point which Naresh was making in the beginning has actually a lot of importance on the pace at how we do it, because we don't have like 100 years to do this. I think Indonesia has already slipped its goals of 2025, has now become 2030, and they've reduced also the target by half. So, the pace at which we are going is really very slow, and I think that's it. Any last point?
Mr. Pillai just mentioned that they are turning capex into opex, where they're charging
Yes.
per unit or whatever they are selling. In fact, that is becoming an industry norm. Today, you look at data center, cloud, they charge you per gigabyte per month. Software companies charge you per user per month or per gigabyte of usage. You look at every industry today, they're trying to move from capex to opex. And there are a lot of options available. If you don't have money, you can rapidly raise money against asset-backed loans. But if you're already in red, if you're already dying, no financier would come unless you sell the company. So my question is, why are we defending companies that should not be existing? These are suboptimal performances. In a race, okay, and this may not be a good example for Indonesian census. In a race, your horse gets 3 legs, and then 1 leg is broken. What do?
Shoot the horse.
Exactly. Now in business, at
Yes.
least in North America, if your company is not doing, you either shut the company, move on, or you sell it to somebody who can do something with it. Yeah. So that's the first point, because I can see a resistance during this conversation in the last 1 hour. We should not penalize. So my question is, if you have children, small children, and they put their finger in the electrical socket, what would you do? Take them to Punjab for a workshop, or pull the finger out? Right now? Are you married, pa? Okay. When I'm in France, I first ask if you have children, then I ask if you're married, because there people have children without marriage. Yeah? Real story. Yeah? If your kid puts a finger in the electric socket, will you coach or will you pull the finger out? Why? No, he may not survive it, yeah? Same thing. Okay? Look, I'm Indonesian citizen. I love living here. So don't get me wrong. I am Indian born, Indian citizen, Singaporean resident, Canadian resident. And my green card in the USA was being processed when I stopped, but I chose Indonesia as home. Okay? But here's something I don't understand. Why we always have to create awareness. Okay, that's given. If you go to work, you better know what you're supposed to do. Or ask your boss. But always, if you're penalizing something, we don't like it. Why is it so? If you give some Indonesian person feedback, do they like it? But yeah, I'll tell you, 31 years, 160 companies consulting in this country. Worked with over 200 CEOs. They hate it. Give feedback. Go home today, tell your wife, her cooking is not what you want. See what happens. Then call me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. So I want to now actually switch because a lot of people have not yet spoken, but I want them to not speak on this topic because this, I think more or less we have kind of covered it to the point we need, right? So now I want to talk a little bit more about specific technologies, specific problems, specific issues that people are facing, because we have a lot of knowledge in the room here who might be able to give some light to the solution. So just a show of hands, how many of you are in a factory in this area here? Can you just raise your hand? Who all are in a factory here? Okay. Different factory, doesn't matter, but you are in a factory. Now, in terms of net zero priority, can you just tell me one by one on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is high priority, 1 is zero priority, right? Where do you think your company is? Just a number. In terms of where do you think your company is in for a net zero priority within your company? Anybody would like to? Yeah, please. Just a quick one. No need of a mic. Just a number. Give me only a number, not a discussion. 5. 5 and target is 10. 6. You're at 6. Around 3. Okay. Anyone else here? Yeah, 5. 5 juga. Where do you want to be? Ideally, you should be at what? 7. You should be at 7. Ideally, you should be at what? How much? You already told me you want to be at 10. Ideally, you believe you should be at how much? Yeah, it's a dream, but you will be happy if you are at what number? 7, 8, what number?
Yeah, we will be happy around 10 because we are completely net zero.
Yeah. So the priority is high. Only thing you're at 5 now, and you want to be. You're at 6 now. You said, right? 3. You're at 3. So you're at 3, but you have a good mandate within your company to go towards 10. Am I right? So it is a priority. Is recognized as a priority by your management.
Yes. The management has achieved this goal.
Yeah.
Still standing at 3.
Okay. So one more follow-up question to all of you. Do you have a net zero team in your company, or is it responsibility of 1% or 2%? Yes.
So the first regulation, from the government to us to the companies, mostly coming from Ministry Environment, to get the proper rating. Otherwise, the company license will be suspended if we get
blacklist.
Blacklist, for example. So the company is afraid, then we starting to follow the regulation from the ministry. So based on the experience among companies is to have the energy what's called energy manager, energy manager. So the role that company give us is combine, Usually we are engineering person, or also the regulatory affair, and also is the responsible for this compliance. So Indonesian say is lu lagi.
Okay, good point. Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about, if you were to look at what is the low-hanging fruit or what is easy to do, and what would they be? So people who are here in terms of technologies, we have Thermax here. In fact, Ravi has some products. I want to focus a little bit more on the technology side because we are, after all, technology forum, right? It's not a policy roundtable forum, but it's a technology forum. So I want to go a little bit into what are the technologies that are available today that can help us, probably with some, what are the easy steps to do, because Ibnu also said step by step. And I think we have PLN in the room. Pa Adrian is here, and Pa Herman is here, and they can also give some contribution because I think there's a lot of experience and knowledge available here. So looking a little bit into the technologies available which can help, baby steps or maybe make a significant impact, and that could be a discussion that we can go in for the next, I think, half an hour to 45 minutes. So Polly, can you have the Thermax presentation up there? So this is to kickstart the discussion because we are fortunate that we have the Thermax team here who have some solutions. But in the subsequent, we're going to do this every 2 months, right? I would welcome all of you also if you have experience sharing, you have products, you have technologies, you have solutions. That is something that we can discuss in the team here so that we can understand a little bit more. And I think, Pa Ryan, you're also here. You can also please contribute in this discussion. And I think from NZICC, Pa Regi, this could be points that we can note so that we can, okay, Pa Regi is out of the room. So we'll get started. So over to you, Ravi. Just a quick overview of the technologies that are available and what could be a starting point. Yeah? What could be easily implemented rather than very complex solutions. Over to you, Ravi.
Yeah. Thank you, Sachin. Just before I start, since the PLN representatives are here, just wanted to check. What I've been reading is all the new investments of PLN till I think 2040 or something like that is going to be in RE. Is that the policy?
Microphone, please. Yeah.
Because that's what I read about. It's good that I got an opportunity to talk to you.
Yeah, so you're correct. Like in our plans, like in the up until 2040, like I don't know if but the plans are that new investments in generation will be in renewable energy.
So that's solar. It's a mix of all solar, wind, hydro,
generation capacity, and also transmission capacity. So it's not just like generation capacity because one of the issues that most of the potential are outside of the demand. So like, let's say demand is here, but most of the potential are a bit outside of our region. So there we add like the generation capacity and also transmission capacity. That's in our plans.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are currently hopefully this year will be launched the new RUPTL, the electricity plan, which is we call ARED, Accelerated Renewable Energy Development, that we stop new coal fire, but we still continue the existing high efficiency coal fire to the natural age. Still, we stop the new coal fire, and we aim to add, if I'm not mistaken, about more than 20 gigawatt of capacity up until 2030 of renewables. So that's on the renewable side, and for the interconnection side, that has been our programs too. First of all, is to unite the grid. I think the first is in Sulawesi because the grid between South and North Sulawesi is still separated right now. And then moving to between Sumatra and Jawa, and then from Kalimantan to Jawa and Sumatra to complete the triangle, and then expanding it to Nusa Tenggara. I think that's the plans up to 2040. And of course, we have also short-term and long-term plans. Short-term is basically for NDC, like the desalination and co-firing with biomass and gas power plant expansion. and energy efficiency, and the renewable is with battery energy storage system co-firing with hydrogen or ammonia. Carbon capture is a big one, but we aim to have the pilot in 2030 because there's steep energy penalty associated to CCUS. And of course, the supporting one, like Pak Ino have already said, electrification, that's a big one, including not just in industrial, but also in residential with EV and cooking, and rooftop PV. Energy as a service, like Panares said, is a big strategy too in PLN, especially with green energy as a service. We aim to supply also the, like I said, market-based instrument like carbon credit and REC from PLN.
Yeah, so I think now we'll go into, thank you very much, Pa Herman. That's a very good summary of what are the technologies that are available from your side. But however, when I think PLN does an excellent job of providing REC, because this is exactly what Pa Adrian mentioned, that, actually the energy supply is from here, but the consumption somewhere else. And PLN's grid is fantastic. I think it's one of the countries which has got it right. The grid in Java and the grid in Sumatra and how it is interconnected, they've done a fantastic job. That makes it realistic that green energy can be consumed elsewhere in the grid through this accounting mechanism of how REC is accounting for, and it's auditable, right? It's completely auditable, so you can match the production of renewable energy and the consumption of renewable energy, and the companies can take forward positions of how much energy they need, which allows PLN to upgrade its facilities. I think it's a fantastic system. Indonesia's got it right. So congrats to PLN on that part. However, this story is not just about power coming to you from PLN grid. It's also about all the other things that are happening in your factory, which is also adding to the net zero challenge. And this is where I think Thermax comes in. Thermax comes in with solutions which you can implement at your own factory, which is further reducing the carbon footprint within the operations that you have. And therefore, in combination of that plus the renewable energy sources that come from the grid, overall your carbon footprint can come down, and that's the decarbonization that we want to talk about. So, a little bit over to you right now, Ravi.
Thank you, Sachin. Before I get into the presentation, it will be about, say, 10 minutes or so. We'll have two sections. I'll just give you a brief introduction about Thermax, and there are a few case studies, Indonesia-based case studies, what we have actually implemented, which I think Sujit will take us through. Before I get in there, I think the discussions we've been having for the last 1 hour, a few points which came up, I made some notes. One is Sachin opened with the net zero goal of Indonesia, which I think from 2060, it has been brought down to 2050 by Pak Prabowo. Very ambitious goal, but I think there is a direction, government wants to do it. So that's something so it's a very relevant topic which we are discussing. Because 2050 is not very far. We are talking about, say, 25 years from now. That's not too long a time to get this implemented. And you spoke about 8% GDP growth, which will result in a 12% energy growth minimum. So I think you spoke about the other way. If you have 12% energy demand, then automatically 8% will happen. So it's actually a corollary. So it's either way. So if the aim is to go to 8% GDP growth, then definitely energy growth is going to be there. And what sort of energy do you want to grow with? So PLN, anyway, obviously the largest energy supplier here. And PLN talking about only renewable is a very good sign overall. And what can industry do to ensure that the energy piece is taken care internally, not only the electricity piece, the rest of the energy part. So that's something where we come in, because we are not into electricity generation per se. We do set up power plants, but then we're not into the scale which obviously we can be a supplier to PLN, but just an equipment supplier.
We should look at that.
Yeah. We are trying to get ourselves registered with PLN for various things. So that is one part. Second is Park Regi talked about Jababeka estate and 1,800 active tenants. So that's a huge setup what you have. I've gone around and I've seen, it's a very large industrial estate, I think probably one of the largest. And you specifically talked about decarbonization initiatives and all which you're talking about. That's again where Thermax can play a role. I was more interested in what Park Igno talked about. You spoke about the Green Economy Index, the various parameters there. More than that, the policy document, what you were talking about, the initiatives. So a few of them I noted down. I think almost everywhere Thermax has a play. You were talking about fuel switch, that's moving away again from fossil fuels. Energy efficiency improvement, we have lots of solutions where we do energy audits and then we can help you improve your energy efficiency in the plant. Electrification is, maybe we don't have a direct play there. Hydrogen as a fuel, we have started on our green hydrogen mission. So we have, that's based on SOEC technology, solid oxide electrolysis cell. So we're still developing that. I think probably in the next few years we will have our solutions in place. So by the time, you're talking about green hydrogen by 2041, but I think Thermax will definitely be ready by then for green hydrogen. You spoke about biomass for heating. I think that's one of our major products what we are positioning in Indonesia. We have a factory, I'll just talk about it, so where we manufacture boilers for biomass firing. And you also spoke about carbon capture for cement and steel. So that's again an area where Thermax is working on. We're not offering it in the market, but I think very soon we will come out with some solutions on that. So that also you're talking about 2036 carbon capture. So almost all the areas in the policy document, what you spoke about, I think we will be able to contribute. So that's a good thing as I see it from today's discussions, as somewhere where Thermax can actively contribute. Okay, I think if you can just move, and then, just keep it there for a minute. Thermax, going a little back, Thermax has been in operation for more than almost 60 years, as Samina said in her introduction. We started with small baby boilers way back, small boilers in 1966. And then we expanded to many areas. We are into multiple areas of energy and environment today. I'll cover that. But then a couple of years back, when this energy transition thing, sustainability became a buzzword, we decided to rebrand ourselves as a trusted partner in energy transition. That's what you can see there, which is written. So we want to partner our customers in their energy transition journey. And not just a partner, we want to be a trusted partner in their energy transition journey. So that's how we position ourselves. So this is our kind of tagline. And you've seen conserving resources and preserving the future has been our tagline for quite some time. Yeah, who's handling the slides? Yeah. So about Thermax, we are a $1 billion plus revenue generating company as a corporation. We have installations in more than 90 countries. We have about 5,000 odd employees. These are direct employees of Thermax. And then we do run operation maintenance and various other, we have lots of contractors. So all put together, we have more than 10,000 odd people who are connected with Thermax. We have our own sales and service people in 30 plus countries, Thermax's own employees and manufacturing facilities. And we have 14 manufacturing locations, majorly in India, 10 of them. 4 are abroad, and 3 are in Europe, Germany, Denmark, and Poland. These are 3 places where we have boiler manufacturing and steam manufacturing. In Indonesia, we have our manufacturing facility that is in Cilacap. We set it up about 7 years back, or 8 years back, 2017 it was commissioned. So that's our footprint across. We are in the areas of clean air, clean energy, clean water, which Samina talked about. We have discussed a bit. So clean air is becoming very important now. Again, it's part of our sustainability initiatives because a lot of countries and provinces and all that are talking about air pollution in a big way. Palm oil is a sector, palm CPO is a sector again where customers or the government is now coming hard on air and water pollution. So that is an area where we are into. Clean energy, we have spoken about enough, biomass fired equipments and solar and all those solutions. And clean water is another area where we are wanting to promote zero liquid discharge, effluent treatment solutions and all that. So the whole range of solutions. Yeah. And our business model, we have our solutions in all these, whatever you can see on the left side, we set up power plants. We have all kinds of heating equipments, whether you need steam, hot water, thermal oil heating, the whole range of heating solutions we have. We have cooling solutions. We have a technology called absorption cooling. which very environment friendly. It uses water as a refrigerant, so it is non-CFC. We have the whole range of water treatments, written water treatment, water and wastewater treatment. We are into chemicals, the full range of chemicals, fire side, water side, cooling water chemicals, resins, the whole range is available with us. And the BOO model, what I spoke about some time back, the build own operate model, what we have. So whatever is required for a factory as far as utility is concerned, we are there. We will be able to supply everything. Yeah. And our network, we spoke about, we have 14 facilities. We have many channel partners across. So currently we are at 127. I think we have a little more now. We have added a few more. We have 9 international channel partners, and this is something which I have already spoken. Okay, go ahead. This is the manufacturing facility at Chilagong. So we started in 2017. We majorly manufacture boilers there. We have recently set up a factory for chemical manufacturing. It's just getting commissioned now. We had a soft commissioning last month. We'll get into commercial production by end of this month. So we have the whole range of boilers. We have the whole range of chemicals which we will be manufacturing here. And we are predominantly a local company, I would say. There are few expats. You see only the expats sitting here, but then more than 95% of our employees are local Indonesians in PT Thermax. It's called PT Thermax International Indonesia, this facility. I spoke about being a trusted partner in energy transition. Okay, go ahead. And we support all industries. So here I was talking to Regi. So he was talking about all these. There are many of these sectors which are operating in Jababeka itself. We have paper, we have food and beverages, we have pharma, chemicals, every sector. So you name any sector, we are there. We will be able to provide our solutions. Yeah. So Sujit, can you take it forward from here?
Talking of the, just before I get on to the cases, like Herman said, one of the main steps, one of the first steps probably in going towards zero carbon is measurement. Right? And you said you had a challenge in terms of convincing. So we do, we also, like you've been saying, we ensure that the first step is where do you rate that particular company? You do an audit, and it's obviously you'll have to give an ROI and then implement whatever improvements are given. So I think that would be the first step towards the journey in this journey. Second is, I think one of the issues that Indonesia has been fortunate that your energy sources or fuel costs have been very low. So you are stuck with some very inefficient system because the coal cost or the fuel cost per se has been very low. I think the second step would be how do we improve the efficiency of the existing legacy systems that you have. Right? It is a challenge because till now not many people give a lot of thought towards that. So I think not much of cost involved, but how do we improve it? Like you said, how efficiently can you use energy? How can you improve the efficiency of a particular product? Utility equipment is the next step. Third is in terms of course, how do you use the fuel more efficiently? So Thermax has got solutions in terms of, like we said, in terms of the renewable and green. We do solar plants, wind energy, wind solar hybrid, electric boilers. So this is one thing, especially as PLN, or as a company which is probably producing rooftop solar, and you have a requirement for steam or hot water at a very small scale, we can go in for an electric fired boiler. So you are not wasting the rooftop energy, and you can use that effectively. So that's one of the solutions Thermax can offer. And then a hybrid heat pump is where we can produce both hot water and chilled water from waste energy. It could be waste hot water, waste steam, or waste gases from the process. These are the things we are looking at. Again, closed loop cooling towers is something where we are trying to save water in a cooling tower. Coming to the waste to energy solutions, every plant, when I come to the processes or the Indonesian companies, we see that many process industries have a waste which can be effectively utilized. Or again, like Indonesia is blessed with a lot of plantation and agricultural waste, and also animal litter, like chicken litter is one of the fuels which could be used in producing steam. So this is where even a lot of other countries Thermax has implemented. So these are solutions that Thermax can offer. Biomass, of course, we have talked a lot. I think the concern that many people had in terms of how do we ensure the reliability of supply or the supply chain, is that's how we assure it through the build, own, operate model, where we can supply the different biomasses. Of course, the one major challenge with respect to biomass is that traditionally Indonesia has thought of biomass as cangkang sawit, as palm kernel shell is the. But we have many other biomass available abundantly in Indonesia, like rice husk, right? Cangkang padi is available. Then in palm oil you have got empty fruit bunch, the palm fiber, which is now generally thrown or is used as a landfill, which can be used as a source of fuel. You can save fossil fuel, or you can transit from that to useful energy. Of course, we can also convert the waste into biogas and fire it effectively, either in generators or produce heat. Absorption chillers is an excellent technology, like we were talking about, where it can use waste energy to produce chilled water. And the refrigerant is not freon and it is water. And we have different types and ranges of it. Of course, anything that when you use biomass, you produce emissions from the stack, where we do have solutions like electrostatic precipitators. The advantage of these is that instead of throwing the carbon from the stack, we are actually capturing the unburnt carbon from the electrostatic precipitators and using it in a circular economy in making brakes, or if it's a biomass, it is being used as a fertilizer. So the waste is not being mixed with water and becoming another problem, which has been one of the things that Indonesia has been doing. People use scrubbers a lot, where air pollution converts into water pollution. Whereas we are talking about dry systems where you capture those unburnt losses or the ash and then use it effectively in the water. Okay, coming to the specific case study. This is one where one of the industries where we have given for a coconut processing. Now again, a lot of agricultural waste is available. We have given a chiller, vapor absorption chiller of 3 into 500 TR, which is using steam. And the steam is generated from the coconut extracted waste, that is the coconut shell, which is a byproduct of the process. And the energy savings were up to the rate of 1.5 megawatt per hour, because earlier they were using air-cooled chillers, which had a very high energy consumption. Closed loop cooling towers, again, like I said, I see a lot of water wasted in cooling towers in Indonesia, where it can be improved using closed loop cooling towers, where the evaporation losses of cooling tower can be reduced drastically. This is we have given in a company in Malaysia, where they have been able to save almost 10,000 liters per hour of water, plus the savings in energy. Yeah, I was talking of electrostatic precipitators. Obviously, coal is a fuel we'll have to live with in Indonesia for some more time, but we can at least prevent the pollution getting carried over to the nearby industries. So we have different technologies. We have given one in Surabaya for 40 ton 7 boilers where they are using coal, and the emission has been reduced to less than 50. Indonesian norms is only about 230, but we are able to bring it down to less than 50. Also, electrostatic precipitators or back filters or back houses can also be used for your biomass. Because one of the concerns, especially in an urban setting or in industrial areas, I don't want pollution to come out of my stack, or I don't want the place to be dirty. So back filters, electrostatic precipitators can be used effectively either in coal or in biomass solution. Coming back to the water is one area which is very neglected. Probably very less norms are there. I've seen people discharge effluent onto rivers, which keep polluting the people downstream of it. So we have given solutions right from zero liquid discharge. A chemical company in Jakarta has gone in for zero discharge. That means not even a drop of water comes out of the factory. The reverse osmosis plant has stage 1, stage 2, wherein they recover most of the water. Then it goes into the evaporator where only the salt remains. So there is not even a drop of water that is sent out of the factory. So that is the ultimate stage of the water recycling. But you can, there are a lot of places where sewage, black water, the grey water can be used for recycling. It can be used in cooling tower, can be used in flush as a water saving device. So we do that. Packaged compact plants or a sewage treatment plant on a large scale. Obviously, industrial effluent has to have a different technology, and we do that aerobic, anaerobic. Like I was talking, we are here still using the fixed film, whereas Thermax has gone to the moving bed bioreactors and to the membrane bioreactors, where water, actually you can get water as good as drinking water from effluent. Okay, so this is about the chemical facility where we are going in for clean, green chemicals, where we are not using any of those hazardous chemicals, and they have been used. They can be used for various utilities like cooling towers, boilers, chillers, effectively and very cost effective. So we have solutions which can help concretely help process industry move towards their goal, towards the 10 that you have a number in mind. That is a step that can be taken one step at a time. We can partner.
Sujit, thank you very much. I think that was an excellent presentation. In particular, the case studies, because Ibnu was just asking how many of these are in Indonesia, and you had many here.
Yeah.
And he also asked how many are in Java Barat. So I think that's maybe another time you can show the case studies of Java Barat, which is of interest to him because he is in this region, and we can follow that up later.
Yeah.
I think what we should do is we can arrange a meeting where with ESDM and Thermax can go and do a presentation and explain what are the initiatives for Java Barat, because their interest is Java Barat, right? So that could be something we can explore. I'd like,
To add to one more point,
Sure.
probably I missed it. Many of the industries have got process waste, which is now being thrown or being sold or being dumped as a landfill. Like I will not name the company. There's a major food and beverages company which has got tea waste after they make the beverage for tea-based drinks, which they have not been able to utilize.
Yeah.
Or there are companies which use pharma, the herbal medicines from ginger, and there are companies which have got food making biscuits, which have got waste which they don't want to sell outside. These have been inputs for our heating solutions.
Yeah.
So instead of wasting them, we are turning it into fuel.
Okay.
We
Thank
have
you.
separate boilers
Yeah.
firing all these.
Okay. So I want to actually now go into, because after having seen this, I want to we have Par Ryan Alfianur here. Par Ryan is a very experienced energy executive. He's right now the president director at Muj Energy Indonesia. MUJ or Mujpa? How do you spell it? Muji. Okay. So Ryan, what I want to ask you is, first of all, you've been hearing the conversation, and I want to end on a high note. That's why I was asking Par Ryan to be at the end of the whole session. Some comments from you, Pa, firstly, about the discussion, and then some insights from you, because you have been in this sector for a long time. And maybe you can give some ideas or suggestions about how, looking at the products that Thermax is doing, looking at the government's own initiatives, what could be some immediate next steps that we can do, because we have here the net zero community. So Regi can then help as this could be the next step, so that we are able to not just do a discussion and forget it and go away, but we have a working plan.
Yeah.
So working together with the people in the room and also other people who can join later, we can implement some of these solutions. So some ideas from you, Parayan.
Yeah, thank you, Pak. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ryan and I'm from Migas Utama Jabar. Actually, the director is Pak Sani, but he cannot come today because the meeting at government of West Java. So I'm Ryan. I am one of director of subsidiary of Migas Utama Jabar, or you can say Migas Utama Jabar Energi Indonesia, or short name is MUJI. So we are fully owned by 100% of West Java government, and Pak Ibnu is one of our stakeholder, Pak Ibnu. And in terms of the portfolio, we have started our company by operating and export oil and gas block. After the issue of energy transition bigger, so we have a mandate from the government to make a movement of our business plan. So we are not again of oil and gas company, so we are a transition energy company. So our portfolio first is we have oil and gas block at several places at West Java. The first one is ONWG block, that is fifth biggest oil and gas block in Indonesia, spread from Thousand Island of Jakarta until Indramayu. And then the second one is business gas unit. So we operated and try to democratize the gas usage of the industrial spread to the West Java. So we already have around 20 users of West Java, industrial, SMA, and also residential. And then we also focus on renewable energy. So we have a portfolio to operate 8 megawatt of hydropower park at Garut. So we also have an agreement with PLN, with Tirta Gemari Tirta Jabar, which produce electricity for Cikelet and Bulanglang. And also we have a plan to increase our portfolio at hydropower, not only at Garut but also at several places, not only at West Java and also at Central Java, to support the net zero emission at the future. And the last one, we also support the EV ecosystem. So we have an agreement with the West Java government. So we try to support EV to West Java government around 30 until 35 EV. So West Java government, I think, we are the first government to use EV. So I think this is the good starting point to implement the usage of the EV, not only for government but also for the industrial, especially at West Java. So that's our portfolio. And then I think if I can comment about Rencana Umum Energi Daerah or the recent ROET, I think West Java already achieved the energy transition, right, Pak Ibnu? Yeah. So I think if I can give the idea, maybe we can support, I don't know it is related to this issue or not, but I think gas is the key to make energy transition, especially at West Java. West Java is in shortage of gas supply. So when we talk about energy transition, we see the data. The gas demand of West Java is very big, but the supply of gas is very low. So the central government tried to install the pipeline from East Java to West Java. The project is Cisem pipeline, Cirebon Semarang, and the point is Kandang Haur Timur at Cirebon. So we try to make a study to make extension pipeline from Kandang Haur Timur or Cirebon until get to Bandung, Pak. So many industry can use gas to make an energy transition. Some companies still use diesel as the fuel of the boiler. I think Bapak very well know about that. And it can give the efficiency around 20 until 30% for the fuel efficiency, and also give yes. And what I think for this discussion, but it is good for us because we are a new player for the renewable energy and also electrification. So I think if you have any forum discussion again, you can involve us because we can make a collaboration. Also with Thermax, we are open, Pak, for the co-investment and also for collaboration of technology. Yeah, we are very happy today to be invited in this forum, and we hope we can give more idea, give the support for all the tenants of Jababeka. Especially, you can also promote us to all your tenants. Because we are not only an energy company, but we also give the mandate from the Pak KDM, our governor, to concern about environmental issue, and we concern about the energy usage that clean and also efficient. Thank you, Pak. That's what I can talk today.
Luar biasa, Pak Ryan. You know what? You actually have given us a very good idea of how to go to the next step. And I think I will talk a little bit about it. But I just want to go around the room because we're going to close in about 5 to 10 minutes. Many people have other appointments as well. We have a lunch served here, so I'd encourage you to do a little bit of networking. But anybody here would like to add, but not the people who have already spoken, please. Just to give a chance to everyone. Mungkin dari sana ada yang mau tambah? Anybody wants to add anything? Dari sini mungkin dari kiri ada? Anyone? Right? If you don't, I think you can. Silakan. Mic ke sini. Yeah.
Yeah, I think thank you for having me here.
Yes,
Miss Eri, I'm from FMCG sector.
Yes.
Firstly, I would like to appreciate to our government. I think already have any devices to supporting NZA. For example, we have regulation about the carbon economic value, greenhouse gases inventarization, nationally determined contribution, and very clear that the enhanced NDC also very clear until 2030. CM1 31.8%, CM2 43.2%. But need to confirm whether the NDC already aligned or not with SBTI. I'm not sure. But also appreciate to ESDM. SBTI already released regulation number 2, 2024. So it's been new regulation about the solar panel installations. We can set 100% capacity, and then the minus take out the export import meter and request by advanced meter, but at least already supporting to net zero emissions. But just some advice to regulations. Okay, we supported solar panel many vendor offering zero capex to installation zero panel, but we still release the budget. For example, like roof assessment budget, we need still provide the budget. Also, if the assessment is we have a weakness in some structure, we need to release also the budget to strengthen improvement. And installation fee per kilowatt per day, and SLO license we still put the budget. And shelter room, if the outside okay free, but if not applicable, shelter room need to inside to the building. Also we release the budget. So the suggestions the next challenge is it possible absorbed by vendor? Of course, vendor also needs supported by government, like incentive and license and the others business. And then I have some advice in terms of the carbon tax. We have regulations, Press number 85 2021 about the carbon economic value. Already clear, I think the government already said about the trading instrument. First about the cap and trade, the trading instrument offset, and then non-trading instrument like a carbon tax and the other. But many industry are already doing, like mostly us are already performed, but about the properness, we got the blue proper, and we have a mitigation for the carbon. But the difficulty to register to our national SRN, System Registry National, because LVP cost very high. Yeah, verification and validation from the institution is very high, so we keep it. But the critical thing is the Indonesian government get those data by our SRN platform, but still high cost for LVP. So that's why my colleagues from the other sector that they win the gold for Pernas also. I'm not registered because the LVP cost very high. So maybe if we update and NDC enhance, our target already up. So I think that's all about my overview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pa. So I'm going to now start going towards the closing, because after we close, we will take a photo bersama with everyone, and then we can have for lunch. Yeah. So yes, Pa.
So Thermax, how Thermax can help us? We want 0% waste, 100% waste to be converted biomass energy, and some can be used in boiler or anywhere else. This is one. Second, we want 0% water waste. 100% water should be recycled. Same can be fed to the boiler. So this much from 2 points. So on this point, we can start our journey, further discussion, and process audit, current practices, and what's next.
Okay.
So if it is coming under your capability, just say yes or no, then next start next. Because we are the world number one steel company, Atmanirbhar, and but number 3 Nepal Steel, joint venture company. And this safety and environmental sustainability are core value, core pillar of the business.
Yeah.
So that is the best way.
Yeah. So, Pa Sanjeev, what I suggest is you can take that conversation offline immediately after this over lunch, but it's a very good thing. So, you can still continue some conversation during our lunch break. But first of all, I would like to say that, this entire roundtable and FGD that we have done today has given rise to an idea, which I just quickly checked with Thermax as well as with the Net Zero community. I think there is an opportunity here to create a program only for Jababeka. And that program can be run from an implementation perspective, how to implement certain technologies, certain goals that are there, and that should be the goal given by Pa Ibnu. So Pa Ibnu, some of the KPI you have for Java Bharat, that can be discussed with the Net Zero community, Pa Regi, and we can create some immediate actionable outcomes that can be then become like the case study for Java Bharat. Like Thermax already has some case study, but that's in Surabaya, Kalimantan, etc. If we are able to create 4 or 5 case studies in Java Bharat in the next 6 months, that is a starting point for advocacy and encouraging other companies to follow suit. So we must have one for wastewater, one for air pollution, one for POC or proof of concept or good case studies, which then Java Bharat can use as example of look at this has been done by this company, this has been done by this company, create a portfolio. So what do you think, Pa Regi? Could we work on something like that? So Net Zero community takes the lead, works together with some of the companies who are already here. Maybe you can be one of the earlier companies that participate. ESDM gives us a framework of what we should achieve by in 6 months, for example. And then Thermax can participate by saying, okay, here we have that following technologies which can be put to use. And if we create a portfolio of 6 or 7 case studies in Java Bharat, in Jababeka maybe specifically, that becomes the example for all the other companies to look at what was implemented. Maybe they can go and see the facility and they can come to our innovation center. We are setting up an innovation center in President University Convention Center, PUCC. We're going to set up an innovation center. That can be some of the products can be on display there, or some of the case studies can be explained there. And we have a lot of such programs that are coming up. And I think this gives us a chance for an engagement of going to net zero. And in the back of some real examples. And I really appreciate Pa Ryan saying that Muji is keen to partner. And we can work out what does that partnership mean so that you can also be part of that campaign to create starting point for by learn by doing, not learn by talking, but learn by doing. Yeah. So I think if you're all okay with that type of an outcome, I think we've got a really good outcome. We've got a project now at hand of how to work together, and this kind of addresses even what Naresh, who I must thank for giving us the starting salvo of how do we really go about having a program that addresses this entire issue of incentivizing. This is something that was said even by Herman and also by Adrian, that not only do you have fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, but also you can have penalties. But more than that, I think is recognition. Why don't we recognize the companies and recognize the initiatives? And that is already being done. There are awards, there are so many things happening already. But I think in Jababeka area and specific to creating FOMO, yeah, we have to create a fear of missing out. Companies in Jababeka may feel that, okay, let us be the leader in net zero compared to the other industrial estates. So starting point can be here within Jababeka. And if we are able to show in 6 months, there's a certain shift in the rating that we got, right? I may say, if we were at 3, can we be at 5? Can we be at 6? Can we be at 7? That's a journey. And we should set a framework being able to measure this. So one of the ideas I would like to propose, part of that project is, we can do a kind of an index, which allows us to see where we are today, and we can measure every 3 months or every 6 months, so that we are able to measure our own progress. So with that kind of an initiative, I think that was a good outcome for our roundtable here, that not only are we talking about the important issues and discussing and understanding it, but we're able to come up with a plan going forward. So with that, and because time is of the essence, I would like to close this. First of all, thank you everybody. Thank you very much for being here. A big warm applause for all of you.